Ksenija. Hey, so nice to see you. How are you?
Hi, so nice to see you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm amazing. It's really nice that we can catch up on this, and I'm super excited to everything that you're gonna say. So, yeah, I think there's one person waiting. I will just get it in. It's being recorded, just for your information. So if you're not comfortable with this,
Okay,
just let me know, and then, but it's
that's
just
cool. That's cool, of course.
so that everybody can see it. Like, I think it's maybe nice if we wait a bit until. So, Abdul, can you
Yeah.
hear me? Nice to see you. If my
Yes, hello, how are you
cool,
guys?
I'm really good. And
Hi.
if you want, you can
Hello,
turn
how are
on your
you?
camera, but you don't have to. Like as you like, as you feel comfortable.
No, I think I'll say an audio if it's possible.
That's super fine.
Of course. Of course.
So I will just
It's
go
very
into
nice to
the.
meet you guys.
Absolutely. Where are you in right now? You are in Saudi Arabia. Is that right?
Y- Yes, I'm in Saudi Arabia.
Okay. Yeah, I
What
know
about you
that.
guys?
I'm here right now in Copenhagen, and you, Xenia,
I'm in
Macedonia.
Skopje, in Macedonia. Yes.
Oh, it's very cool. It's very nice to meet you guys.
Very nice to meet you.
Pleasures on my side. I've been once in the Adrian Paci house in Skopje. You know that one? Adri Paci.
Adrian.
He's a visual artist, and he has like a
Oh yes.
residency.
Oh yes, yeah, I
Yeah,
know, I know, I know, I know. Yeah,
it's
you
the art
mentioned you
house.
put yeah.
It was really
Wow.
nice.
So
Yeah, and also you have like this amazing National History Museum, right? We've been there and like loads of
yes,
stuff.
yes. Yeah, we do. Sometimes I'm unaware. I guess that's normal. I'm unaware of the, interesting stuff that we have here. But I am aware that we have very many talented artists here. Painters and visual artists. So we do have a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was the Manifesta. I'm not sure how much you're into visual arts, but it was not in Macedonia, but it was in, let me think where that was.
And was it in Serbia, in Belgrade, or am I wrong?
It was in Kosovo, actually. So, because,
Well, that was Serbia before, yeah. So
yeah,
I guess, yeah, in Kosovo, yeah,
I mean, of course, we talked to some people, and it's like a rough history that went
yeah,
through that. But
yeah. It's so funny. We're such a small region, the Balkan region, but everybody has problems with everyone. So
yeah,
we're all like,
we could talk for hours
yeah,
about this, but maybe like at another time, because I think today, like, it's really just about you, your story, your writing, and also like
yes,
sharing about,
yeah, of,
like, I
of
think
course,
all
of
we're
course, of
trying
course.
to do today is to figure out how we can go from a blank piece of paper to publishing seven
Yeah,
amazing books, because you simply don't do that
thank
overnight.
you.
And for everybody, like, I will send a link later into into the group of the the books you published. I think it's already in the community somewhere here.
Okay, that's so. Thank you so much. That's amazing.
So it's here. I will just copy paste that and put it here in the chat. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can wait maybe like 3 more minutes, because I know that some people like plan to join and maybe they did not see the invitation again. Also, friends from you, like a
Yeah.
lot of people texted me actually. So, um,
Really? Wow,
yeah.
I'm excited. Yes.
So there's, you know her, it seems like Biljana Karanakov. She wanted to join. She said she's a friend
Oh
of
yeah,
yours.
she's a fashion designer here in
Yeah.
Skopje. Yes. I,
So that would be
yeah.
really nice. But also, like, if they join later, I don't think it's a problem. Like, we don't have a tough deadline. Like, maybe you need to leave at some point, but
Yeah.
I don't have any plans, so we can just see like how
No, no,
that.
I don't have no.
Yeah.
No, I'm cool for
So
sure.
I will just like. There's Diana. Hey, so nice to see you. We just took a little round to introduce ourselves. Also, we're waiting like a bit longer because some people were waiting in line. But let's see, like at some point, maybe let's wait until like 5 more minutes, and then I think we can
Yeah,
easily go
yeah,
on.
for sure.
maybe you want also to introduce yourself. We just did a little introduction round. Ah, yeah, there's another person. Like,
Yeah.
hey, can you hear me? Okay.
No, something was wrong with the yeah. Okay. Here.
I will just text them on Instagram.
Yeah.
Maybe send the link.
For whatever reason, it shows an infinite loop on your shared screen.
Then let's take this picture back to cover it up. Better?
It's all good. Depending on the film effect you want to show.
Yeah.
Okay, just give me a second to copy paste the links and then we're good to go.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Okay, Magellan is also here. Hey Magellan, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Super.
Hello, Jonas. How are you?
Nice, good to hear you, man.
I
Yeah, we're just waiting a bit
Hi.
longer because, yeah, like maybe people just went to go something to eat or anything. I don't know. But also,
Yes.
anyway, we'll
No,
start.
it's
We'll start now, because like
okay.
yeah,
We haven't slides tonight again. I don't know what is the problem.
yeah. So let's begin. I'm very excited to be with all here and talk about writing, especially in aspects to writing towards cinema, because like any story can become a film, but the main emphasis will be just a creative process of writing. So how do you go from a blank piece of paper to, we already said, like 7 amazingly published books and all the challenge, like all the challenges on that way, like finding a publisher or just dealing with the anxieties of self-doubt, like am I good enough to put my words out there, or like we can have like a super open conversation. This is a Q&A, and it's like not a talk where we just go through a red line. But if you have questions, you can just write them in the text or freely speak. And so somebody else wants to join. Yeah, I think we're just here to like empower everybody to get the confidence into writing what they believe the world kind of misses, and through that finding like the message they want to send out, to have the impact that they want to have. And Ksenia, you're writing a lot about female empowerment and the story of love. And I know I hate this question myself, but what is your work about? Like what are your interests and what motivates you to keep going, even if sometimes it's so hard to have a creative practice?
Yes, first of all, thank you, Jonas, and thank you everyone for being here tonight with us. It is my honor to be part of this event, this little gathering online. And I'm so grateful for the initiative to be invited to be able to talk about something I love so much and something I have been doing for almost, it feels like my entire life, but really since I know about writing, or since I know how to write, I've been writing. So, it's kind of my whole life put in words, which is so interesting. And yes, so when somebody asks me about, what do I write about, what inspires me, you're right, Jonas. It's always so difficult to explain what inspires you and what moves you and what, things you kind of find interesting and, kind of mysterious to dive into them and see what's happening, beneath the surface. I've always been drawn to characters that are very fragile, very relatable, very human, but at the same time, characters that reflect and portray our fears, the things we never talk about, the things we hide from society, from our friends, from our loved ones, from our parents, from everybody that we're afraid are going to judge us. The things we even hide from ourselves, are not able to identify them well enough to be able to solve them. And all these mysteriously fragile characters that are so human and part of all of us, the complexity of them and what's beneath the surface, what's on the outside and what's really happening on the inside, has always been so inspiring to me to, write about, talk about, but also create stories that push boundaries in many ways and make readers think about the issues they probably, already are familiar with, but look at them from a different angle and kind of, raise questions in a different way and make readers think about the things that are happening to us every day, but we just simply take them for granted, or don't really, or are too afraid to even, come closer and take another look.
Yeah, it sounds like you throw all of your interests into these little snowballs and just throw it out into the world. And you're so right, like when somebody would like to know what's your work about, like you all wrote it out in these books. So I would guess like it's all there to read. And that was super nice to hear. I thank you so much for sharing that. And maybe we just start not at the end result, which is your work as a book, but like maybe in your journey, where did you start? Like, did you always want to become a writer, for instance?
Yes. Well, yeah, I think so. Where I come from, so I come from Macedonia. That's a very tiny country in the Balkan region. We have around 2 million people, maybe even less now. And where I come from, being an artist is not something that you are encouraged to do, simply because of the difficulties artists have in maintaining their life and being able to earn enough to survive only from the art that they create. So it's very normal in our country for an artist to be an artist as a side job, but also do a lot of other stuff in order to survive. And this is not only until you make it. You will probably never get to the point where you're going to make it enough within the country to be able to live only from your art.
Yeah.
So this is where, society puts a lot of, pressure on you when you kind of have this, you show talent since you're a kid, let's say. But rarely will anybody tell you, okay, maybe you should pursue art, or maybe you should pursue writing, you should pursue singing, or something like that. So, for us, the kids who had been, gravitating towards art, it is always, our determination that got us through, and our love for what we do, because there wasn't another way for us to become who we are today unless we followed our passion. And this is not, easy at all. So since I was a kid, I was always an artistic person. I always was interested in arts. That was like, given. I was always interested in books, in writing, in movies, in theater, in music, in just anything that made my soul move. I wanted to be an actress for quite some time. I was part of this kids acting school that turned out to be a very interesting kids show during my teenage years. And it was actually really popular here in Macedonia. It became like a real TV show. And I was so happy back then because I could do what I really loved. And just being part of an art world since you were young, it was like a blessing to me. We also read a lot and wrote a lot in that little artistic corner. So it was like a bunch of things, mixology of many things. But then when I turned to 18, I kind of didn't have, I don't know, the support around me, or maybe I was too afraid. I don't know, because when you go into an acting school, you kind of dedicate your entire life to that. You get a degree, and then you wandered through life. So I was a little bit scared to put all my eggs into one basket, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. It was a weird time for me. So I decided to go and get a business degree, which was totally different from what I really wanted. And I was also a little bit pushed towards that path, but I do not regret it because I learned so much about life, the world. And I think that kind of knowledge made me even a better writer. So I was writing all along while this was all happening. And then when I was in college, in university, I started writing a little bit more seriously. And then my first book came out when I 20, I think. So it kind of, yes, I always wrote. I always had very big passion for writing. But it's kind of, I wanted to be an artist and had to have a channel through which I can, send my messages. I wasn't really sure if that's going to be through acting or through writing, but I was sure that this is something I have to do in order to to live, to be okay, mentally and everything. But because I had so much to say, and I really needed a channel to send it through, to let it out.
Yeah. So you were exploring various disciplines, and then ultimately
Yeah.
you went with writing. Was there like how did you become so clear that this is your medium? Like, as an artist, you explore many mediums, so
Yeah, I guess the tranquility and how quietly you could do it, that gave me a permission to become that. Because when you want to be an actress, you kind of pursue it so fondly and so greatly. And this was something that I could do in my quiet time, behind closed doors. And for some time, nobody even knew my intentions, what I was doing when I was writing my first book. I didn't tell anyone. I just wrote it and then started thinking about publishing it. But it was kind of a process that I had to go through. So I guess the confidence that I had as a writer was so quiet and so different from the confidence I didn't have as a person, if you know what I mean. So it gave me permission to become someone else in my quiet time while no one could see it. And that gave me freedom, really, freedom of becoming someone in a world where, judging is not judging, and pushing you towards something else is not so present. So I think I kind of started enjoying it so much because of the how can I say, of the peace it gave me, and of the permissions, and it's just some space just for me it gave me every time I wrote. So yeah.
yeah. I resonate so much with what you're saying, especially the part that you're driven to do something, and it's not like up to like commercial demands or things that are make logically from a financial point sense, but you really just do it because you believe in that. And that freedom, if we talk about that, like, does it have an output in a fictional form, or like in a documentary form, or in like a hybrid form between documentary and fiction? Where's your like, I know it already, but maybe for the audience too.
Yes. The journey starts, changing for me with the first book that gets published, and that's back when I was 20 years old. I'm 36
crazy
now, so
yeah.
that's 16 years ago, and it seems like a lifetime. And when I just want to, get the audience familiar with the mentality of the people in my society. So you kind of, and this is only because I want to leave a little motivation and, to kind of a message not to give up, and that you can always build your own world within the world that you live. And so when a kid who's like 20 publishes a book back at the time, this is 16 years ago, within the community that I live, like that's even sometimes called ridiculous, like that's never taken seriously, it's like, why on earth is this girl, writing this, and then is just putting so much effort and time into something that is never going to mean anything to anyone, it's really that question. And you get this from your closest people, and it's not with the intention to hurt you, it's with the intention to protect you. You know, they think they're protecting you by telling you like why are you putting so much time into something that's never going to give anything to you back, you know? And so that was the the feeling that I got when I published my book. And I published it with a kind of decent publisher at the time. I was really lucky to be picked up by this publisher. And of course, it was my first book. Looking at back from this point of view, yes, you know, but it kind of marks a time that, you know, it marks the beginning, and I'm happy it does. And, you know, so many people thought that would be it. You know, you got your book, you got your book launch, you got your audience, if you can say that, or attention whatsoever. So now you're done. Now you can go back to your, you know, you're studying your business degree and just, you know, becoming, you know, the person that, you know, is going to be, you're meant to become. But to me, that was not the end. That was actually the beginning. So I published the book. It didn't really do anything, you know, it wasn't a life-changing thing for me. I was prepared for that, you know, but it was the first step towards the direction I wanted to go. So again, in my quiet time, I started crafting my second novel. And my second novel was actually a little bit more serious thing happening to me, because we did it completely like hardcore ourselves with a couple of friends of mine. So I published it this time. But the audience turned out to be great. People actually really liked that novel. It's called Idiotic Stories. It's a collection of stories, and each story is set through different points of view. So the narrator changed of each story, and it's kind of about society, how society is absurd in a lot of ways, you know, and very, very relatable to the society we live in, to the world we live in today. And then turned out to be quite interesting. So the book launch was great. You know, we did it like with zero budget. Everything was so, you know, just you know, the art itself and nothing else. And that book actually got me the proposal for the third book, you know. So it kind of actually the proposal from the publishing house that was going to publish my third book. So, you know, slowly, you know, the road started moving somewhere. You know, I could see something happening there. But yeah, it took a lot of time for you know, for everything to make sense, you know, to the people who were watching this, you know.
Yeah, and adding to that, like that nobody cares, it's not true, because your books have amazing reviews and are like read by so many people.
Yeah.
So like I think it's just a sign
Yeah.
of like how one element stacks up to the next one, and then you can like get your snowball moving.
Yeah.
So to gain the momentum
Yeah.
and the self-belief, so that if you can do it once, you can also repeat that process, and then
Yeah.
ending up on that, like crystallize your message like page by page, word by word, and that's really great to hear. And
Yeah.
so besides,
Yeah.
you want to add something?
No. Please go on. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe we get a bit into also the era, or like the space of not doing something only for the sake of it, but also facing like commercial demands. Like during that time,
Yeah.
did you
Yeah.
think about that at all? Like we can go in detail, but like I would rather talk about the art stuff. But I think it's also important to have in mind like financial
Yes.
attributes.
Well, it is important to talk about that, because, you know, in the end, we all need to, you know, to earn money to, you know, to live and to have a good life. And I think that art should be something that we have to, you know, we enjoy doing, but it's also something that we have to think of ways how to, you know, keep on doing what we love, but still, you know, be appreciated and get paid. So for me, that was a journey that's very, very interesting, because again, the community in the country that I live is very difficult, and it's very difficult to be only an artist. But everything that seemed pointless at some time opened doors to me to other stuff that brought me a bigger audience, bigger visibility, and a possibility to do so much more with my brand name, let's put it that way. So you guys, it's never only about what you think you're doing right now. It's always about the possibilities that you can't even imagine, that are going to come out of everything that you're dedicating so much love and attention to. So I never dreamed that, I will build such a great social media following because of my writing. Because, I literally started using social media when Facebook became a thing. And I used it to post my quotes, to post my pieces of my writing, just a couple of words that I've had in mind, and those quotes became so interesting to people, so shared, so liked, so much, so popular, that brought me an audience that I could, call my audience, a loyal audience that I could present other things to, and do so much more with them. And same thing happened with Instagram. So everything that I was dedicating so much time to kind of paid off, because you're getting so many other sources of revenue that you can earn, like, is it commercials on social media, collaboration with brands, launching something on your own, opening a women's organization like I did, and working in the NGO sector and being, well known and respected because you already build your name and you build your audience. So my point is that it's never pointless. It always kind of comes around for you. You just have to don't give up and just keep on going. So if someone asks me how can writers earn a decent amount of money to be able to live, I would say, of course, keep on writing, keep on looking for opportunities. If you find an agent, that's a game change probably for you. If you find a decent publisher, never ever pay them to get published. Never do that, because it's never going to turn out good for you. It's never going to make your life better. A decent publisher will never ask you for your money to get published. That's my honest advice. That and also do not just publish for the sake of having a book out there. Wait for the moment. If you believe in what you have, wait for the moment, wait for the right opportunity. And sometimes it's better to self-publish than to publish with the wrong publisher. There's a lot of publishers out there that are calling themselves publishers, but really they're not really somebody who can partner with you and support you in your way. And use digital tools, because there's so many opportunities up there like never before. Use the social media world that's open to you to be able to engage with your audience and build your visibility. That's going to help you. No matter what people say, social media really, really helped me, get a bigger, it helped me get to you today, so it helps us, become connected, become, network, and find new opportunities. So I always advise artists to use that in their advantage.
Right moment, right time, right people, kind of.
Yeah.
And it sounds to me that speaking your truth in the way that you were speaking about, writing in a fictional sense about things that really matter to you, that you could not express as your identity, really resonated with other people, because the things you thought probably had like just an essence in them, and through that you were kind of building a personal brand up, what somebody would call a personal brand, right?
Yes, I read something that I really like, and it said your personal brand is not what you do, it's how you make people feel. And that's really true. I think that's really true. So it's not only about it's not only about, the art, the craft. Of course, that's the core of it. But it's also about feelings, and how we make people feel with what we do. And, it's also what we stand for, what we give into the world, and I feel like all this personal brand that I kind of built in the meanwhile, it really helped me get better opportunities, get noticed, and brought me so many amazing people to work with.
Yeah. While in the end, it's just yourself, right? Like all this branding
Yeah.
terminology, I think it's just you showing up for what you believe in, and then you find others who believe the same, and or also
Yes,
not.
yes,
Like
of
not
course.
everybody needs to agree, I guess, right? It's maybe even good to have like people who don't agree, because then the people who do agree get a bit more or
Of
more
course,
love.
of course.
Yeah. Talking about like what I maybe want to say is you don't need to please everybody like through the work you're doing, but it's okay just to stand
Oh yeah.
and
Oh
for.
yes. Oh yes. It's so healthy to have people who don't like what you do and who don't agree with what you do. It's actually healthy for the for your growth, for your awareness of the things that you're creating, but also for for distinguishing where you stand for. You have to stand somewhere in the whole chaos of the world. You have to stand for something and for someone. And of course, there's always going to be people who are on the other side, and that's okay. But personally, being open to such things and open to also criticism, open to constructive criticism, especially, that's so healthy for an artist, to
Yeah.
be able to grow.
Yeah, sometimes I think even people who don't like your work are really great critics because they just speak the truth. Like they don't try to sugarcoat it, but like you get like, and then you can turn it up into like
Oh
the
yes.
opposite kind of, or and then
Oh,
take it as
oh
something.
yes. Because art is so subjective, and that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. We create things that move people in a certain way, and sometimes in a way that we can't even imagine. So it gives so much room for so many other feelings, and that's so healthy. That's all about that's what art is all about. So I often get receive all sorts of criticism for my work, and from so many comments, I've learned so much, and I feel like when something is coming from a place of a real place, you always can learn from it. So never shut down for criticism. It's really important to be able to accept that and learn from it.
Do you take in the criticism then? Like, was there a time when you took it personal, or?
Well, when I was in the beginning of my writing career, I took it more personal because I was so young and I was so how can I say fragile, but at the same time naive, and at the same time I was like a little bit thinking that this was it. You kind of don't really realize that this is just the beginning of your growth. But as I grow and as my writing style changes, improves sharpness and everything, I realize that it's a never-ending process, that there is always going to be someone who is going to give you another point of view, and that's just the way that you grow. So right now I take it with a very cold head, and I accept it fully with my whole heart, because I know that it's only happening for me, not to me.
Yeah. When you said fragile, I was thinking of a plant that grows, and when you're like upcoming art, like, or like an aspiring artist, and everybody, your closest friends tell you, no, you're not an artist, right? Because they themselves maybe think that they are not, or like they don't have the confidence to do it, or they just, as you said, want to protect you. And then you grow up and you become like a tree, and then the wind does not shake you so much anymore. This is.
Oh yes, I can feel, I can totally relate to that. Yeah.
And like what I also think is, I don't believe in luck. So you finding your message so early was probably just also a lot of hard work towards wanting what you want out of life. But to somebody who maybe is starting out and has not like found their message in some way, would you have an advice? Like, is it made through working it out, or?
I think it's made through living mostly. Like, go and live as much as you can, meet as many people as you can, travel as much as you can, inhale art as much as you can, through books, through art, through music, through movies, through everything. And just be out there living. That's the best advice that I can give, because everything that's happening around will totally shape you in so many ways, and will definitely help you find that, message, find that word, because
Yeah.
if we can say that all of us have a word that's like narrowing down our work, or one word, maybe two words, and maybe I found mine, so it definitely all the things that
Absolutely.
were happening, I lived through it, helped me do that, helped me find that.
So gain clarity and then having great inputs to have great outputs, maybe. So all
Yes.
of these
Yes,
travels,
for sure,
experiences,
for sure.
conversations, book trips, whatever. And do you
Yeah.
want to share your word, or it's also fine if not? Like you said, you have one word that is the ingredient.
Oh yeah, it's empowerment for
Wow.
sure. It's empowerment.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you look at it, like
Yeah.
all my stories, in a way, they all have this characters that are so different because they're like wow different, but they all been kind of looking for the same thing, and that's empowerment, needing the same thing, empowerment. Yeah.
And these characters might come from various places, conversations, friends, other.
Yeah,
Films,
yeah.
maybe.
The interesting thing is that I get so attached to characters, not to the story so much. I have to say, my stories always start with characters. So first I have characters, and then I have the story, and that's one way of doing it. So, like, for example, I was afraid of clowns my whole life. And I was really interested in knowing why, and then I kind of dived into that a little bit deeper, and then I was so inspired by everything that I read about clowns that inspired me to write a book where the protagonist was a clown that was so unhappy and sad on the inside, and so joyful and funny on the outside. And his story was really one of the closest stories to my heart. But yes, I've also written characters that are like so different from one another, but each one of them has something, has touched something in me. So yeah.
So you start with a character. You could also start with a
Always.
location, but you start with a character and then with an emotion that
Yes.
you have, right? But then you
Yes.
take
Yes.
this emotion.
Yeah. It's kind of a way, perhaps, of writing. Some writers start with the story. Some start with a location. Some start with an event, that's happened there. I always start with the people, the characters, the characters, because I kind of get attached to them mostly, very very intimately. So I always think about, who is going to be telling the story this time, and why is this character so important to me, and why will he matter to the readers, and why is his story, and what is his story? Yeah.
Maybe what we can take from that is that you gotta start somewhere, right? No
Yes.
matter where, but you gotta start.
Yes, you gotta start somewhere, and it can be as chaotic as it will be. Don't be afraid of that. It can be messy, but what I would advise, because if we ask ourselves how to move past the blank page, and start moving forward, I would give you an advice that it's good to organize your process. And I know that this can be difficult for an artist, and this can be difficult for a writer who is like having tons of thoughts in his head. But to organize your way is not only smart, it will help you write a better book. Simple as that, because writing a book is a long process, and you forget so many things on your way, which is normal. But when you have a roadmap, let's call it a roadmap, you kind of know where you're going. And I always advise that, know where you're going. Be open to surprises, because there's going to be surprises along the way. There's going to be changes. You can't plan everything. That's called the beauty of art. Be open for those surprises. Leave some space for magic. Leave some space for magic. That's gonna, and but know your way. Don't lose time finding your way, because when you know your way, you are your most secure. You are your most confident. You're your most your best self, and then you can focus on crafting and writing, you know. So knowing your way is something that I wish I knew earlier, you know. It was only that the last novel that I wrote, that I used the roadmap, and it was really, really game changing for me in so many ways, but also for the readers, you know. It's so much it's so much well crafted, you know, when you have a roadmap that's kind of leading you towards, you know, the end, and you kind of can see it, you know, so you can visualize it, you kind of helping each other. So roadmaps are helping kid for you to write better.
Yeah. Adding up on that, for what you said before, also I want to add something, because you were working from an emotion, but you were not working towards like an introspective thing that was private to you, but you turned it into something that becomes public. So it was not about your private life or anything, but if I understand that right. But you took this emotion
Yes,
and
yeah,
made it accessible
yes,
to others.
yes.
Kind of.
I've never written a book that's about my life. My books are fiction. My characters are fictional. Of course, they're inspired by everything that you know, I know and I've seen and I've experienced. But I've never, you know, kind of told anything that's like, you know, part of real life completely. Just took a piece of my life and put it in writing. No, maybe I'll do it one day. Maybe for now, no. I actually enjoy lots creating fictional characters and stories, because I have the freedom to fantasize, and I love that, and I don't want to, you know, stop enjoying that. Yeah.
Yeah, because what I think about is this dichotomy between personal and private. Like something that is private, that is like belonging to your inner circle, but then something personal can also be accessed by somebody who did not have that same experience, kind of.
Yeah.
So it's more like.
Well, yes. That's a very good point, because I always talk about the difference between personal and private, you know, because one thing is our private life, that's, you know, only ours, but something personal is something that probably affects so many other people as well.
Yeah.
You know, like my personal well-being is not only my well-being, it's the well-being of my community, it's the well-being of all women who've been through the things I've been. The well-being of my society, the well-being of my generation, you know. So that's personal, but also is something that concerns us all, and it's important to talk about that. So that's not giving out private details.
Exactly.
No, that's about talking about something that personally matters to so many of us.
Yeah. Would you say that's in a way accessing like a public subconscious then, where you have like certain tendencies?
Yes, it's about understanding that we are all connected, and kind of raising awareness, and kind of also helping each other, because I want to believe that we're not just here, you know, human beings living on the same planet and just sharing the same planet. I believe that we're more than that to each other, you know?
Yeah, and make similar experiences but different. And I think my next curiosity would be, I mean, 7 books. I can imagine your first book did not have that system in place, right? You were probably just writing something.
Yes.
And then
I was just writing, yeah.
Yeah, and how did you write? Like every day, 1 page, or every week, or did you have like outbursts? How can we imagine that happening?
Yeah. Well, now when I write every day, because consistency is so important to me. But of course now I know better. But at the time I was just writing, you know, I was just coming home and just, you know, exploding with emotions and sitting on a computer and writing. It was so much fun because it was the beginning, you know. So I kind of envy writers who are at the beginning, because it's the biggest fun that you will ever have, you know. Of course you will always enjoy it, you will always love it, but as the responsibility, as the seriousness of it grows, you know, as as your knowledge and your awareness grows, it kind of becomes a little bit, less fun and more technical, and more navigated. But when you are just becoming it, when you're just, not knowing that you're doing it, that's the best part of it, and that careless attitude towards crafting something that means so much to you. That's amazing. But of course, the shape of it and the feelings about it change with time, which is, yeah.
I mean, you had Christmas recently in Macedonia, no? Like a couple days.
Yes,
so,
yes.
As a child, Christmas is amazing, but then at some point you understand the structure behind it or something.
Yes, and you start to avoid it. Yeah, no, I'm joking, but yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
So, is that magic then taken away from the writing process? I don't think so, but.
I don't think so. No. The magic is never taken away. I live for the magic. If the magic is not here, I wouldn't be able to do this. I know myself. The magic stays, but other stuff come in, and I think it's getting better with time. When I look at it from a general point of view, it's getting better with time. It's getting fuller with time, and it's getting, so much more deeper with time. And you kind of learn to have fun in other ways. But it's same thing with everything in life. As we grow and we kind of mature, we learn to have fun in other ways. So approaching yourself from other angles is interesting as well. So the magic is always here, and I think it never goes away as long as you continue to be here for the right reasons, for the core of what art is.
Yeah. Something that I can imagine that also happens that at some point it's not fun, right? Like you write in the end goal for having fun, but then you face these obstacles, and how do you overcome them? Like
I kind of have parts of the process that I don't enjoy as much as I enjoy others. But I kind of have to understand it as an entire thing that has to have a beginning and a middle and an end. So whatever you do in life, there's always going to be parts of something that you kind of you wish you could skip, but you can't. So I see it as a serious thing that's happening to me, and I always tend to remind myself how grateful I am how blessed I am for having this need to write, and this things inside me that make me do it and help me do it for so long. So when you put it like that, you kind of say, look, I'm becoming who I always dreamed I would be. I'm doing what I love, and that's all you could ask for. So everything else, you just you go through it.
Yeah, I think it's like you want to go on the top of a mountain or somewhere, and then at some point your feet just start to hurt, and that's normal, and you have to kind of carry just on and like whatever.
Yeah,
have, like,
exactly. It's part of the process.
Step by step, and then maybe just a short question. Does anybody have a question from you guys? We can just ask something or just write in the text when it comes later.
I wanted to know how you make a believable dialogue.
Oh, that's a very good question.
Absolutely.
Okay. So a dialogue is one of the tools that I use the most. It's very, very it's a big part of my writing, and is the part of my writing where I reveal a lot of stuff, and I enjoy it a lot. So keep it short, keep it simple is something that I would highly recommend, because finding how to say more with less is always smart. Never forget how people talk in real life, when you have 2-3 characters, imagine them in a room, and you have to know how they talk. Not all of your characters talk the same way. Not all of your characters can be smart in the same way. They all have to have their way of talking and speaking. And it's very important to always remember this. So what's the tool that's going to help you? Always we write biography of each character before we start, right? We write a biography and we kind of get to know the character. Sometimes you will be inspired by people that you've met in your life. That's a great tool because if you have met this person and the way they speak, the way they talk inspires you, remember that and always have in mind what would they say? How would they say it? What words would they use? So your characters have to be realistic and relatable. It's very challenging to have a dialogue between 3 characters. But it's so much fun to do it, and your dialogue has to be so well written. And it's probably the part of your book that you're going to rewrite the most. They have to be so well written and so sharp and on point that even if you don't say who's saying what, the audience, the readers will know because it's so, real to the character that you've built. So I also another tool is that we all have words we use like real people. So characters do have the same thing. So maybe you can add like 2-3 words that this character always juggles in between sentences and when he talks or she talks. Remember that, and also remember how this character talks when they're happy, how they talk when they're angry, what's the transition, how is it happening, So really, really know your characters, and when you know your characters, it's gonna come naturally to you. It's like, it's like they're becoming your friends, and like you can say, oh yeah, she would say this. It sounds so much like her. It sounds so much like him. So always know your characters really, really well. Don't start doing anything before you write biography. For them, you have a lot of roadmaps for good biographies, like questions you have to answer about your characters. But it's not only statistical information, it's also about feeling your characters, So I always want to put face to the name. So you have to like imagine them. If you've met them, if you have some writers base characters on the people they've met, that's always inspiring and it's a great tool. So always know your characters and keep it short, keep it simple. Less is more. Show, don't tell. That's something that's also very important. Like you show so many stuff without telling them. That's a craft that's gonna elevate your whole storytelling.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have like a tool? Let's say you make an observation of a great character and then you sit in the subway and half of the memory is lost on that way, I can imagine, to writing it then down in your book. Do you have a tool for that?
Yeah. You mean for taking notes when you have something in your mind?
Kind of. Or remembering it the right way.
Yeah, well, I always take notes whenever I'm crafting a novel, and even before I'm preparing to craft a novel, I take notes. Everybody takes notes in a different way. I personally do it on my phone because I'm always with my phone, and every time I have something I can put it on, I have a special folder where I put all the things that are like kind of inspiring. And yeah, so because I start with characters before I write, I kind of already know, who's going to be who and why are these people all together and like what who are they, their stories and everything. But it's very much recommendable, if you ask me, to put to just find someone who inspires you. And just base the character on them. It's not their story. It's not about them. It's just, knowing how someone talks, speaks, how they act, just basing a character on someone that you've met. It's always going to be very much easier for you to craft that character, to like go deeper and really understand it.
And let's say you accumulate a lot of observations. How do you stay then consistent within this narrative?
to make a decision what's important to you. So once you've taken a road, that's the road. It's about selecting what's important to you to say with this novel. There's always going to be other stuff on the way that are very interesting, but it doesn't have to mean that they all have to be in this novel. You kind of can save them for later, or just remember that they inspired you and put them somewhere in another folder. But you always have to remember that this novel is about this, and this is my core, and this is my main message. I don't want to mix it with so many other stuff, and I can always leave some other things for later and write another book about something else.
Of course, this is your process, and it's probably important that everybody creates their own process. But what I hear is that you start with this collection of characters, turn it into a very specific biography, and then add like an emotion that is dear to your heart, turn it universal to others, open that emotion up, and then think, okay, what is that about, and create that direction for the message. And then every decision is becoming, okay, is it helping the story, yes or no? And then from the accumulation of thoughts, inputs, whatever, you then decide it's coming in or going out. Is that something?
Something like that. Yeah, you're right. Everybody has their own process, and it's so it's so subjective to decide on which process you want to take or which road you want to take. But whatever works for you. I always tell this to writers who are just beginning, that it's very good to understand what the others are doing and to take notes. I mean, that's helpful in general, but also don't forget it's your process, and you have to know what works for you, and don't be afraid to make mistakes, and to understand what doesn't work for you, and then take another road and learn what works for you. So that's a process that we all go through. It's not that we wake up with all the answers. We kind of go through everything and then learn.
Just to add on that, I can imagine it's different for every book, but do you have like a deadline you set yourself when you say, okay, now it's the accumulation part is over and I just go write? Or
to be honest with you, I like deadlines. They're helpful. They're helpful for a creative mind to get organized. I put always a deadline to my work, and not only to my writing, to everything that I do creatively, just to know, to have an endpoint. It helps to me. It helps me, look forward to it, and also kind of get serious about the process in between. So I always have a deadline, to which deadline I have the first draft, and then I have a deadline for another draft. And meanwhile, I work with the editor on my book. And then, of course, sometimes the deadline shifts and everything, but it's good to have like a perspective. Okay, when are we having this draft? Okay, let's do it by the end of summer, and you kind of have this responsibility, that you want to do it, and you will do it if you are consistent, but it's good to have a deadline. In my opinion, works well. But I do not put a deadline to which I'm going to publish the next book. I just, when I start doing something, when I feel, kind of inspired to, then I kind of put a deadline in which I want to see my work come to the next stage. But I already know that I'm into it, so I've already jumped in the pool, and I've started swimming. So it's only once I'm ready. I don't push myself. Oh, I want to have a next book published by no. I don't do that. I just kind of give a direction to myself once I'm in the process.
Just one more thing, and then Magellan's question. Like, when you jump into this pool, do you then juggle other things also, or you go all in during that period?
Well, yes, I do a lot of other stuff as well, because it's simply my life. I've never had the full, how can I say, privilege to only dedicate the time to write. I know some authors do, but those are probably the authors that kind of are getting the advanced paid to do that, and that's amazing when you kind of know that your book is already in the deal. For us that we're still doing so many other stuff, is part of the time that we do it, and then for the rest of the time I have to do other things as well.
Yeah, of course, everybody has a life, but what I can hear is that this
Yes.
deadline kind of like is the enemy of the procrastination. So by having this deadline, you're kind of like having
Yeah. But it also helps, at least to me. It's different for everyone. I've always responded good to deadlines. It's kind of giving me structure and motivation. So for me, it works. For other people, it might be different.
Magellan, you want to ask yourself, or should I read it out? How you feel?
Yes. My question is, my question is, what was the thing that pushed you to write your first book?
Well, I was writing it without knowing that it's going to turn out to be a book. So I guess it was just the momentum of it and the feelings that I've been feeling, that I was feeling, and all the things that were happening and I was going through. So nothing really, pushed me to write the book. It's just that I, sat down and wrote because that was peaceful to me and gave me so much freedom and made me feel better. But then when it all got to a point where it turned out to be a book, I decided to take the first step and approach a publisher just for the sake to receive some feedback, because it was the first time for me to share my work with someone from the industry, for someone from the professional world, and I was interested in knowing what they thought.
Thank you so much.
You have a further question?
You're welcome.
Magellan? Great question. Okay, then I have a question which would be, there are so many things to do as a writer. What are the right things to focus on?
Well, I would say at this stage, for me, it would be, I can only talk for myself. It's prepare for the work that you're going to do. Research. Do a lot of research before you start writing. Know your roadmap. Know where you're going. Stay open to criticism. And something that I don't particularly do or avoid to is, once I start writing, I kind of don't want to distract myself with reading, let's say, other novels or stuff like that. I kind of want to keep on my own track and my voice. I do read a lot in between, but not during the process of writing, because it doesn't confuse me, but it can like make me a little bit off focus at times for no specific reasons, and I've noticed that I'm better when I just focus on the things that I'm crafting.
Because I can imagine you get then new ideas by reading somebody else, and then your message gets
Yes, and their voice starts messing with mine, and I kind of, so it's it can be a little confusing, and I mean, it's a process. It's just my way of doing it. When I'm into the process, I'm writing every day. It's like living a double life, so I don't really have any space for anything that can distract me for that.
Thank you. Magellan, you want to speak? You can just, you don't need to.
Yeah.
Okay. I will try to speak, but my English is so bad.
No,
I said it. To write a book, you often base yourself. You often base yourself on what? Jonas, can you please?
Yeah, I will just read it out. Ksenija, to write a book, you
Yeah.
often base yourself on what? Your own life, or what you often see in the society in which you live, which adds on something?
Yeah. Yeah, well, of course, it's parts of my, although my books are fictional, it's part of everything, part of this, part of that, the things that I experience, the things that are happening to the world, the things that inspire me, things that I feel are so, that are filled with injustice, things I feel like have, attention, need more attention, everything, so everything that's around me. It doesn't really set to one thing. It's all of it together.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Does it answer your question?
Thank you.
Or you have another one, Magellan? Okay. Can you still hear the echo of my microphone, guys?
Thanks.
Can you hear the echo, or is it good now? Because I think it's the
It's good now. It's good. Okay. It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Cool.
No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, nice. Okay, then just move on, Magellan.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mira. Good to see you. Yeah, we just had a long Q&A, but I can send you the recording. Yeah, that's the best. And yeah, but now that you jump in, do you have any questions about writing a book or a novel? Because now is the chance to get it answered by Ksenija. Mira is a researcher and a scientist and an artist, a visual artist from Munich. Yes, and
yeah, nice to see you.
Yeah. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you like this. Yes.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So, I mean, I joined later. I'm not sure if I have immediately a question, but I'm happy to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ksenija is from Macedonia. Mira and me, we've been in Albania on a art trip with Olaf Nikolai. He's like a visual artist, and then anyhow. Yeah, maybe I would just give you like to Mira a summary of all that we had, and I will try to do it. Like we had a lot, but we were talking about having a roadmap and a process, even though you go with the freedom to allow yourself kind of to explore. Let's say we take the metaphor of going on a journey or a trip, and then you want to have like an end destination in mind, but on the way be open to the sunsets and the ice cream and all of the beautiful things that you could not plan for alongside that journey. Would you say that's true, Ksenija? So having a direction, but being open to.
Yes, that pretty much sums it up. Having a direction, but it be open for the magic, for sure.
For the magic.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then something else which really stuck with me, and I think it was such a great question, how to write like an authentic dialogue. And then you said that it's important to keep it simple and to say more with less, and also imagine being spoken out in the room.
Yes. Imagine how real people talk about, how talk to each other, how these people, if they really met, how would they speak to each other, how people speak in real life to each other. That's always important, to keep it natural, to keep it authentic.
Yeah, and it's also probably the method to not make it then cringy or something, right? Because if you like, people actually say that, but then.
Yeah. It's the part of the book that's always getting a lot of remarks by the editors, and with reason. It's probably the part of the book that's going to be polished a lot, and you gotta go back to it and change so many things, which is natural. And it's always good to zoom out a little bit, and then come back to it, to see what's really happening there. So it's a process until you get the perfect lines, for your dialogue.
And then maybe show it to like a trusted circle, the raw book, and then get.
Oh yes,
those
are called beta readers. You have to have a couple of those. They don't have to be your friends. They can be your just readers,
Your
people
haters.
that that your haters.
Give it to your haters.
Yeah, and you just give it to your haters, and they give you an interesting feedback. No, but it's good to share your book with some people before you publish it. It can be very productive and very perspective for you.
Yeah, and then maybe even have a proofreader or somebody who's like checking
Of
your grammar
course,
and so on.
of course. Proofreader is a must. An editor and a proofreader, that's a must.
Magalan, I can.
Can you help me to read this?
I can if you want. Ksenija, by writing all his books, how do you feel? Do you think you have reached the goal?
Oh no.
He
No,
does
no,
it-
no, no, no. No, I'm so far from it. So far from it. I've just I feel like the next if this last book of mine has been, open new door for me, I feel like there is so many other doors I need to open. I'm very far away from my goal, and I don't really feel like I have a goal that's very tangible or even set precisely. I just want to write and grow as an author, and become better at what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like you're focused on the process rather than on the end result. Is that something?
Yeah, I've learned how to focus on the end results as well. I learned that last year. I kind of became my own ambassador, which is really difficult for artists sometimes to become, because we're kind of hiding behind our work. So I am very also concerned. Interested in the outcome, but it is not all I care about, and I think that's a good thing, at least for me. And I never feel like I've become, I've reached my goal actually for anything. So I always, feel like I have so much more to do and to achieve.
Just keeping on writing and exploring, kind of.
Yeah.
Adding on that, Magalan wrote that in which platforms we can buy your books. There's the link to Goodreads, but maybe also we can just buy them directly. I don't know if anybody's interested.
Yes. Well, if you go to my website, which is ksenianikolova.com, you can find all my books and all the links to the shops where we sell. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Mira writes, what inspires your stories? For example, are you listening to strangers when they talk? Yeah, we can maybe go into that again for like there's a lot in the recording.
Yeah. I listen to strangers when they talk, and it's a problem for me, for my social life, because I get really easily distracted by random talks, how people talk, how people walk, how people smile. I analyze everyone around me, and sometimes I don't see what's right in front of me because of that, but that's the side effect for me for writing. Yes, I've based dialogues on just random talks in the metro, in the bus, and the airport. I've wrote down lines from people who I've never met, I've just seen once. People who inspired me were strangers sometimes. So yes, I analyze a lot.
So we are all now part of the future possible. And
yes.
Like,
okay.
Mira, you can just speak, like turn off the.
Yeah.
If you.
Okay, I didn't want to be rude or something. It's quite interesting because in my art class we also have movie makers, and but of course in a very arty way, making movies, like actually barely using language, a lot via gestures or something. That's why I was also asking, like, how to put this in a scene just with a gesture. Or
the body language and the unsaid things in an actor sense, maybe.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's a
the
good
body
question.
language
Yeah.
is really important in the book as well. You know, the way the character moves and doesn't say, but also says through their bodies and their facial expressions. I focus a lot on that in my characters. They're all very, very distinguished in that way, and I can picture their facial expressions pretty well. I know exactly who does what when they're angry, when they're sad, when they're happy. Just like real people, you know, just like people that you've met, like the people in your family, in your inner circle. You know who does what when they are become angry, anxious. So it's good to analyze that and to craft your characters. We should never, never forget that these people that we're writing about are actually you know, real people just like us. So yeah, that helps a lot when you have it in mind.
Did it ever happen that a character from one book made it to another book?
No, no, it didn't have but that's an interesting thing that I've been thinking a lot about. But I don't think I'm so there yet. But perhaps maybe in the near future, you know, a character might jump from part 1 to part 2. Let's
So
see.
every book is kind of an own universe, and then these characters.
It's an own universe,
yeah,
yeah. It's you know, I was just you know, exploring as much as I could. I really jumped from story to story very bravely because I wanted to see where I stand. I wanted to write about different stuff. It was really important for me to craft different characters. The first characters that I've crafted were actually men, and I got a lot of questions from my audience. Why does she always write from a male perspective of view? She's a female author, and I always found such comfort into writing in from a male perspective of view because I was distant from my own personality. It was distant from my feminine energy, and I was scared to get in touch with that because I was too afraid to what might happen. But then, as I grew a little bit and matured, I became more aware of everything, you know, and I kind of started exploring female characters as well. But that's an interesting thing that I didn't mention that until my fourth novel, I was always, you know, writing from a male perspective. I was the protagonist was always a male in my books.
Thank you. Abdul, you want to just... Mira. Who wants to go first? Like, I think... Abdul, you were first, if you're here.
Yes, my question was, just 1 second. Like, do writing skills in different media share anything in common, like books or movies and songs?
That's a very good question. Actually, I write. So I write books. I also write lyrics for songs, and I have some little, you know, unpublished screenplays that I have. I think all of it is writing, but I do think it takes a different perspective. There's some things that I could never write, and there's some things that I've always knew I would write one day because they always interested me a lot. So I guess it's about what you gravitate towards. It's not important if it's only one thing. What matters is what moves you. Screenwriting has always been very interesting to me. Very, very interesting, and also lyrics for music as well. So it kind of happened naturally to me. But I know writers who only write books, and I know writers who only write screenplays or you know, plays for theater. It all depends on your preferences and what you really wanna do. But in the end, yes, it's all writing. It's all crafting a story in a different way with different techniques.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Adding to that, then maybe there's a certain possibility to even translate mediums. So once you have made a book, you can translate it into a film, and then even if some things
Yes.
get lost in translation,
Yes.
then there are overlappings.
Yes,
Mira?
for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually it's very it fits exactly to what you just said, to transformation the medium, because I do my PhD in the literature educational field, and I work with Generation Alpha at the moment and Generation Z, and look into their social media usage. And I wanted to ask you what you think is, how do you think it is will change in the future? Because I asked, for example, my interview partners, what is the difference between a book and social media? And yeah, I would like to know what you think about that, or in future thinking, what would change?
Well, I think that we're going to see artists use social media more for portraying and showcasing their art in their own way. For example, the classical reels that we know on Instagram. I personally started using them as short videos for my quotes. So they were like voiceover videos with a little bit of action. Sometimes I was the one who was in the video and just crafting a short story with my voiceover. So that was the way for me to express a little, like a scene, from my own story, my own book. So I think we're going to see that a lot in the future. I think that artists are going to use all the digital tools that are there to present their art. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because we're coming to the assumption and the conclusion that you don't need a lot of money or great technology or great technical, equipment to craft a story and craft a short thing that you want to send to your audience. And sometimes it can have a lot of visibility and a lot of reaction by the audience because of the emotion that they will evoke in them. So I think we're going to see a lot of this kind of artists that are going to become more and more visible thanks to social media, digital tools.
Yeah, especially because we were focusing a lot on the empowerment aspect of these platforms, so that you can reach your audience and grow your spread your message through these. And then I just had to think that artists always have also this responsibility of being like a parasite of what they're inhabiting. So even then, if you're using these mediums like Instagram and YouTube, as you were saying right now, you can own it and make it yours, kind of, by like adding something to it. Like not playing what the platform wants you to play, but just do it your way.
Do it your way. That's the best advice I can give. Do it your way. Use it to your own advantage. Use it the way you want to use it. It can create possibilities with it. Reach out to your audience with it. Send your message through it. So use it your way for sure.
And maybe also...
And also the question, sorry to say something, but the question is also how images and text is changing for the future, like because they are trained already in a different way somehow. And
yes. The focus of today's generations has shifted to a very short focus, for anything really, and that can be challenging when you want to send a message. But that's again the trick with using the platforms your way, but also knowing how they work. So if you want to use something on social media and send a message, you have to adjust it to the platform that you're using. So you have to make it shorter, you have to make it clear, you have to make it visibly clear in ways that it's very clear what you want to say and who are you sending into, and it can be a teaser for something else that you're doing. So what happened in my case that somebody saw a short video that I made with a quote that they liked, and they were inspired to purchase my book and see what else I've written. So it can be like a waiting room for your audience. When you kind of attract them, but the things that you are making there. So it's you can't do the same thing everywhere. You have to adjust to the circumstances that we're living in. And it's not a bad thing to adjust to all the resources that we are offered. So use them your way and also know what works where.
Yeah, I had to think of Marshall McLuhan, who said like the medium is the message. It's like from the 60s writer, and that rang very true with adopting the way of writing to the platform you're using, and then also having a what I have like is I have things I do like for free, and then I have things that I do paid, kind of like a pyramid. And then I think, okay, like it's okay to give something to free, kind of that I don't know, that is like a teaser to your message.
It is like a teaser, like a preview, like a teaser, like a preview, just something they can, like a hook for them, to see the concept that you're trying to develop, and then attract them to jump on your website or write you a message and explore everything else you've done.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of attention, kind of. Because we're living in such an overloaded society, there's so much information. Yeah. So having these hooks kind of can trigger somebody to go to your website and actually take the time to check it out. That's what you were
for sure.
Anybody else? Something?
Not funny.
Then maybe something that could be beneficial to everybody is that we talk a bit about tools for the final, so that maybe what would be the bare minimum tools to use to write something? Would you suggest like Google Docs or?
Yeah. Actually, it all starts with a computer and a Word document, to be honest with you. And it's an old-fashioned way where you just open a blank document and you start writing. Internet is always good to have the internet to research, when you want to make some additional research. So, that's the basic of it. You don't need anything else. You just need a computer, a blank page, a Word document, and maybe an internet connection to be able to research. It all starts from there. And to be honest, there are different tools, like, I don't know, platforms that help you write better, like organize your roadmap and everything. But I feel like my old-fashioned way, for me, of course, I'm talking about me, works best, when I have like my paper and I write down everything that I have in mind or in my notes on my phone. I do my roadmap manually, step by step. So it's all individual how it works for you. It all starts with a blank page. It's not rocket science. It's just, simple. So no equipment needed, just basic stuff.
Thank you so much for sharing all that, and I really loved it. I have way more questions, but I think just, respecting the time, like if you need to go somewhere, like we can just go on. It was great. Yeah. See you. Have a good evening then.
Okay. I would be very happy to do this again with you guys, for whenever you have we have time. I'm here. I would love that, and we can perhaps gather some more questions and explore some other topics. Maybe even do an exercise together, something interesting, because I always I've had in my women's organization, I've had a writing corner with a couple of women, and it was really interesting to explore how writing can connect, can make us connect to each other even more. So I'm here, like, to do this again.
And
whenever we decide
and give feedback to each other. Absolutely.
Yes.
Does somebody have something on their mind? You can just speak freely, like, of course. If anything is that you always wanted to know, also about marketing yourself or getting, like, maybe something I would have to add is, would you say it's a good idea to start small rather than like aim for like a final book, or like can it be also like just a?
Well, it all depends. It all depends on your, of course, on your journey. I mean, it all depends where you at. I mean, I know a lot of people who had their hit novel since their first book. You know, it also depends on your journey. So it's not only about aiming; it's how things turn out for you as well. But of course, you know, you start from somewhere, and you never know where it's going to lead. So it's important to just start from somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, and then trust.
I think what I heard lately was I was watching an interview with the Breaking Bad screenwriter, and when he was asked, "Hey, there is so much violence there. How did you come up with these ideas?" And then he said, "Yeah, actually, it's my biggest fears, but I wrote them down." And kind of therapy. I thought it was quite interesting, actually.
Yes. Really, really interesting. You see how he uses his fears, you know, his deepest fears, what he's afraid of, to craft something that's really interesting. That's something that's really interesting. Yes.
Yeah, which also might resonate with what you said before, that you start first with a character, then the precise biographies, but then also with like a emotion or like, which can be a
yes, for sure.
But there is no formula also, right? Like
no formula. You have to dive in and just bleed. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, guys.
It was.
Thank you, guys.
Really
it was lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Then let's call it a day, no? And we can do this anytime.
Yes.
I could go on forever, and I have so many questions also regarding the political tensions that are between like maybe the area you're in, because I would really love to learn more about that. I had an insight with what was going on in Albania, Macedonia, and like I'm also super curious to have that conversation. I know we were not going there this time because it was so much focused on like how do you get started. I think that's it. Like how do you take action? That's what it's about.
Yeah, well, whenever you want, we can talk about that, because that's really interesting. There's so much to talk about there. It's a totally different topic, and so many interesting things, so many unmanageable things happening. So yeah, whenever you want, we can have that talk, and I can share more.
Let's keep that in like the very clear, like soon future in mind. And
yes. Just let me know when you have time. We'll do it.
And about the books, like I will post the website again and send it to everybody, like in the group, or you can also just reach out like directly. I guess so to you, Ksenija, right? Or
you can reach out to me on my email, on my Instagram. Just find me anywhere. And 1 second. Okay.
It was so nice. Okay, so
yes, thank you guys. Have a great evening. Thank you, Jonas, and let's talk soon again. Okay.
It's my pleasure. Okay, see you soon.
Okay. Bye. See you soon. Bye.